Fabra, Yoni,
Yeah.
you guys ready?
Yep.
Baruch Hashem. So, everybody knows it's a very special day today. Number one, we're in the sukkah together. We're mamash in Gan Eden. We're in the chuppah. Number two, it's Rebbe Nachman Yarzeit. And before we get into it, I just want to welcome everyone on. It's a very special moment for all of us since we've been learning Rebbe Nachman for so long. It's been almost a year and a half or a little bit even more. And there goes the candle. The candle's still burning. We'll see why and what that really means later. The deepness behind the candle. But I'm sorry if you can't see me. But we've been learning Rebbe Nachman together for so long. And it feels like we're at the beginning. It feels like we're at the surface. But Baruch Hashem, we're trying each and every day to understand the inner depths, the inner deepness of the tzaddik, Yisod Olam, Rebbe Nachman. And we're first going to start off with the teffilot b'shem Kol Yisrael. And this chabura is for quick refuah for Pesach Reuven made Yosef Asar. And you have a quick refuah. Help me bear shame and embarrassment without throwing insults back in return. Even if I hear myself abused, let me not reply. To those that curse me, let my soul be silent. No matter how other people may abuse and insult me, let me hold my peace and say nothing. Let me silently wait for Hashem and hope in Him. And let me be like a man who does not hear and has no complaints on his lips. I'll be like a deaf person, I will not hear. I'll be like a dumb person who will not open his mouth. Bezrat Hashem, Chavra, we should all get to that place of humility. Now, I brought, you guys have to see this. The wind is crazy here. I have 5 candles that are just out right now. So we're going to try with the 6 and see if that works, because we're heading into Shabbos, Yom HaShishi, and Yom Shishi, and we're going into Shabbos. So Bezrat Hashem, the 6th candle will work. The Kavod Shabbos, the Kavod Shabbos, Bezrat Hashem. And now, as we're lighting the candle, I've been thinking about to myself, what does Rebbe Nachman mean to me? Right? We've been learning Rebbe Nachman for so long together, Baruch Hashem, and we've been talking about the concept of Hanukkah ever since last Hanukkah, and we're 66 days away. And one of my favorite Torahs from Hanukkah is that the fact that the 8th night represents above nature. Ribono Shel Olam is above nature. He's above the realm that we live in, the world that we live in. You know, to me, that's really what Rebbe Nachman's Torah gives me, right? He gives me that vitality, gives me that energy, that force, and that ability to believe in above, to believe in light within the darkness. Gewalt. Maya, what is chas? And I came across this story with my chavruta, Rav Avi Karakowski, about Hanukkah. And again, we're 66 days away, and we're on Sukkot right now. So we're not looking ahead. Rather, if you want to ask or understand how Hanukkah is deeply rooted inside Sukkot, ask the Kabbalists, because it is. So we're going to read a story together, and this basically encapsulates or just a smidge of what Rav Nachman means to me and what Rav Nachman means to the world. So in Auschwitz, there was a Radomster Chassid. The whole time before Hanukkah, he was telling the Chassidim, remember the last teaching we heard from the Heilige Rebbe. The first night is the most important. Mamish, the first night you ask the Rebbe Nachman, Shelo yichbe nero le'olam va'ed, that the light should never go out, right? This candle that's lit right now should never go out. As the wind is going crazy, my sukkah feel up. There it goes, it went out. The Nazis made it very clear that whoever would be kindling the light would be shot immediately. And anyways, where did you get a candle from? The first night of Hanukkah was gefurlach cold. When they went back to their bunkers at night, the Yidden saw Rebbe Naftali, this Radomster Chassid, walking around searching for Hanukkah candles. Their hearts told him that he would not stop for anything until he found a candle. Every morning there was a roll call. If you didn't have your shoes on, they would shoot you immediately. Late at night, there is some scratching on the door. And the Heilige Rebbe Naftali comes back with his shoes, without his shoes. He sold his shoes for one candle. All the Yidden told him, Rebbe Naftali, you don't have to have such Mesiras Nefesh. They're coming and they will shoot you in a minute. Ah, he says, the whole Yom Tov is about Mesiras Nefesh. But where do you find a little window for pursuing Nisa? Wow, imagine. They found a little opening. The wind was blowing. Somewhere or another, he took a little piece of wood, fixed it, and put the candle on. Everyone was shivering because they knew they could be killed any second. The Heilige Rebbe Naftali makes a blessing. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shesani sima avotinu bayamim hahem b'zman hazeh. Since the time of the Chashmonaim, no one cried over one candle like this Rebbe Naftali. The light was shining from one corner of the world to the other. Everybody who was there knew the light was not from this world. After 2 minutes, the door opens and the Nazis walk in with a whip. He starts yelling the chorus language, such dirty Jews who kindle the light. Naftali gets up and he says, "I." It was not his eye. It was the eye of Anochi. What is the eye of Anochi? This is the deepest depths. There's a teaching from the Radomsker. Eliezer said, Evid Avram Anochi, the servant of Avram and I. The Radomsker points out this should be said, Anochi Evid Avram. I am the servant of Avram. Why is it backwards? What is Evid Avram Anochi? He explains that Anochi is describing Avram. I am the servant of Avram, the one who walks around saying Anochi Hashem Elokecha. So Rav Naftali says I, and we could hear this I until the great day comes. The Nazis begin to whip Rav Naftali. The Nazis start screaming, "Blow out the light!" Rav Naftali, with his last strength, sings, "Haneros halalu anu madlikim ala nisim al niflaos al shuos al milchamos shasita lavatenu bayamim hahem b'zman hazeh al yidei kenecha hagdoshim." So he continues hitting him, whipping him the whole time. Rav Naftali is singing, "Haneros halalu kodeshem, haneros halalu kodeshem." I heard this story from a person who heard it from the Radomsker Chassid. This is Rav Shlomo, right? He heard this story from a Radomsker Chassid, or who heard it from that person himself. The Heilige Rav Naftali was already dead. The Nazi walked out and the light was still burning. But this Chassid who told me the story, so that the second night, in the same place where the Heilige Rav Naftali kindled light, they saw light. They asked everybody else that was there, "Do you see it?" And they all saw it. They mamash saw the candles, not to be believed. Can you imagine how much the Chashmonaim were crying the first night that the light should last forever? The Chashmonaim brought down to the world the utmost belief that our lights last forever. The prayer of the Chashmonaim should last forever. They were kindling the light the first night, and suddenly it was forever, infinite. The first night is also a miracle because it lasts forever. So Bezrat Hashem Chavra, that story could have been too long. It could have been said better. There could have been more light on my screen. Thank God we have Mayas. But this all connects back to what Rebbe Nachman means to me. And through living in this world, right, of blurriness at times, with confusion at times, with downfalls, with hardships, but also beauty. We have to remember the beauty. and Hashem's light and how Hashem runs the whole world. But dafka, when we feel like we're falling, when we feel like we're in those dark places, Rebbe Nachman's Torah gives me the feeling that my light burns forever. That my light burns forever, and all it takes is for my pair of eyes to see the light, to believe in the light, the everlasting light, the infinite light. So it might be Sukkot right now, and we're repeating or we're saying over a Hanukkah story, but really Hanukkah and Sukkot and Rebbe Nachman connect in the deepest ways. They're not just for this time period, but it's for every single moment in our lives. So Bezrat Hashem Chavra, we should all be asking ourselves, what does Rav Nachman mean to me? What does Rav Nachman mean to me? How does he enhance my Dveikus Hashem? How does he enhance my belief in myself? So Bezrat Hashem Chavra, we should all be zocheh to understand a little bit more of what Rav Nachman is trying to tell us each and every day. Questions, comments, please feel free. Gewalt. Amazing. Maya, you should be healthy, happy, and successful. You should have an amazing sukkah along with all the viewers, along with all the chevra that wish to be on, but couldn't be on because they're on their sukkahs. And there's no service. Bezrat Hashem. Chevra, be well. We should all be healthy.